there, Happy New Year. I hope that if you're watching this in real time that you are coming out of a wonderful 2017 and gearing up for a great 2018. And if you're coming back to this video and it's not New Year time, I hope that you're having an awesome year no matter what the day is. So thank you for being with me, and really excited to start off the year, although I was a little panicked when I woke up yesterday morning. Today is January 2nd, and so of course yesterday was the 1st, and I woke up and I thought, oh my gosh, this is the year. And January 1 to April 1, 3 months is gonna just fly by as I finish getting ready to start my thru hike. And I'm so excited, but oh my gosh, I've got so much to do. So I'm really a little bit, not panicked, but just like, oh my goodness, I've got to get it all done. I've been printed out a 3-month calendar today so I can map out my whole to-do list and what I'm going to do each day, when I'm going to find time to hike, and just all kinds of things. So it's an exciting time, but I think it's also going to be a great flurry of activity over the next few months. So I'm trying to just savor every moment of the preparation and really enjoy the journey before the journey. And then also very excited about continuing to share my journey as I go forth and actually start hiking come April. So before I get into the big topic for today, which is shoes, I wanted to thank everybody that commented on my last video about my planning process. I really got a lot more feedback than I expected. I thought planning, ugh, boring. But it really seemed to kind of strike a chord with a lot of people. And it's funny because I don't tend to really think of myself as a master planner. I'm very organized, but I'm one of those people who kind of, I say that I'm, you know, I live on the edge between the right brain and the left brain. So I can be kind of creative and let's just sort of wing it sometimes. And other times I'm like, let's get that structure in place. And I find that if I have a little bit of structure, then that makes it much easier for me to just wing it, because I kind of have an anchor or a kind of a point that I can go back to if I need to, if I start to get some anxiety that I'm just going too far and being too crazy and too spirit of the moment, then I can always go back and sort of retrace my steps to my plan and get situated again. So I was thinking about those comments, and it was really interesting to see the feedback, and also want to thank Early Riser, who actually talked about my thoughts on his video. So thank you, Early Riser, for everything you do. I'm just, you're doing such amazing things to support the class of 2018, and I know I'm not alone in thanking you for your support. As I was giving it some thought, I realized, you know what, it's not so much that I am all about planning as it is that I really like to be prepared. And I laugh because that's the Girl Scout in me. That just, you know, I grew up a Scout, and I spent time in the summers going to, it was a garden club camp officially in Florida, but it was actually outdoors at a state park, and we just had a lot of time, you know, a lot of great fun learning outdoor stuff in addition to the camping and the things I did with the Girl Scouts. So had a great time growing up, but I all learned to be prepared, always have a backup plan, know your contingencies, and that sort of thing. So I think my planning is really all about how can I be best prepared for this trip. And it's a different kind of mindset, I think, in terms of wanting to be prepared. I want to know what's coming up. I want to know where are the cool places to stop, and what are the hostels that I should stay at, or the places that I might want to avoid. So that to me is more preparation than really planning. And I actually sat down to look at planning out portions of my hike. And I cannot be the kind of person that says, okay, on Tuesday, April, whatever, I'm going to be in this place, and on May 13th, I'm going to be here. I just can't do that. I need to be able to get up in the morning, hike as far as I want to hike, stop, and go on. But I do like the comfort of knowing that I'm prepared. So if I get up on April 13th and I only want to hike 5 miles because I feel crappy, I want to know that there's you know, options for me, or that I know there's a hostel that I can get to if I need to, you know, get in and get an urgent care or something like that. So that kind of preparation is important to me. And the topic that I want to address today, shoes, is all about being prepared. So we'll get there in a minute, but there were a couple things that I just made some notes on that I did want to share with you first. Take that back. Let's talk shoes. One of my favorite subjects. Oh wait, can't wear those on the trail. Shoes. before I started hiking long distance, I didn't know about buying shoes that were bigger than your normal size, or that your feet might change on the trail and that sort of thing. So I had a couple pair of go-to shoes for my day hikes. One was these Columbias. They've served me well over the years. They've hardly got, looks like hardly any wear on them, although they've got a lot of miles. These are my regular size of 8.5, and they're good. They're very comfortable. Great if I'm just going out on a local trail. And I also have these Merrells that I like a lot. They've got a Vibram sole. One of the things I do like is they'll never come untied because they've got this little stretch cord, but they don't make these anymore that I could find. They are Chameleon Arc is what they're called, and I tried to find these to see if I could get them in a larger size for my thru hike, but I didn't have any luck, so I had to go shoe shopping. And I don't know, shoes are hard, and I guess I have to say that what works for me, for my feet, is not necessarily going to be what works for somebody else for their feet. Everybody's feet are so different. Some people have high arches, low arches, wide feet, skinny feet. I personally have kind of narrow heels, so I tend to slide forward if I'm not careful. And so what I'm sharing is really just what I found works for me, and I think you're just going to have to go through trial and error to find what works best for you. So even though people may say they love a certain shoe, and thousands of people out there are talking about how great they are, if they don't work for you, they don't work for you. And you just have to find what really does, and it's okay if it's not the brand that everybody else is using. If it works for you and it's a good quality, durable shoe, then heck, wear it, love it, and do that. I went through that process. Everybody was saying, oh, you got to wear Solomon's, or you got to wear the Ultra Lone Peaks, and I tried all of those shoes. I ordered some, wore them around the house just to see how they felt, and they weren't working. And then finally on one of my forums, I was asking people for opinions about what shoes they wear, and somebody mentioned to me that Saucony makes trail runners. And so I was like, yes, I love Sauconys. That's what I wear when I'm working out usually. And so I stumbled across the Peregrine 6, which are these bright pink and gray babies. And they have just been absolutely amazing for me. They fit me perfectly. They give me no pain, no blisters. They have an awesome tread. You can see some of my trail dirt on there. I haven't cleaned them yet, but these are perfect for me. My only concern was when I started wearing them, I still had some pain from my broken foot, and I felt like maybe they weren't giving me enough stability. So I also wanted to get some Merrells that were a little bit heavier duty shoe, not boots, but just a little bit more heavy duty trail shoe versus a trail runner. So I went shopping for Merrells, and I found these, which I liked, but I couldn't find them in a size that fit me just right. I guess the stock was low or something at the time that I was shopping. These are the Merrell All Out FST. Also have a Vibram shoe and a lot of good tread on them, but I didn't actually buy these at the time that I found them, partly because they were full price and partly because I couldn't find the right size that fit me perfectly. So I went back to the drawing board and ended up getting these Merrells, which are a little bit heavier. They're definitely not the lightest shoe. And I was doing really, really well in these, especially as I was recovering from my broken foot, getting back on track, getting the ligament issues worked out, which, thank you for those of you who have asked. My foot is doing great now, so that's great. But these are the shoes that I was wearing on the trail when I talked about in the video how the trail was just covered with wet leaves, and every third step, it was like step, step, slide, step, step, slide. And I really was afraid I was going to get hurt. They just do not have, if you can look at the bottom of them, it looks like a good tread, but just not enough like grip to really get into the trail. I mentioned sizing up. These are 9.5, so these are full size and bigger than what I normally wear. They fit pretty well, and especially when I do the heel lock lacing, which I'll show you at the end of this video if you don't know how to do that. Pretty good shoes, but I was very concerned about the slipping because I don't want to slip and fall on the trail. I know I probably will a couple times. I actually did once when I wasn't even expecting it because I had stopped and then I took one step forward and landed on my backside. But it's going to happen, but I want to obviously minimize it and minimize the chance of injury. So I started thinking maybe these shoes should stay home as a backup pair instead of being my primary shoes for when I need a heavier duty shoe, because these Sauconys are definitely my go-to shoes. But I went over to the REI garage sale the other day. Didn't find anything I want, which is a big surprise, but I did walk through the store and they had these on clearance, and they're only a size 9, so they're only a half size up, which is not quite as big as what I thought, but I definitely have the room that I need in the toe. So I picked them up. They were half of what they retail at, so it was a great bargain. I'm going to use them on the trail a few times before I go out and start, and if so, I'm going to put these into my rotation. You may be wondering why on earth I have so many pairs of shoes for the trail, but I know people can go through 3 or 4 pairs over the course of the whole trail, and one of my concerns, and this is kind of part of my preparation philosophy, is that I don't want to have to try new shoes that I've never worn before halfway through the trail, because I just think that could really cause a problem for me. So I would much rather get my shoes lined up beforehand and have 3 or 4 pairs ready to go, where I can call my husband and be like, okay, send me a new pair of the Sauconys, or send me my Merrells, because I feel like I'm going into terrain where that's going to be better, and switch those out when I have shoes that I've already broken in, gotten accustomed to, I know how they feel. So that's the kind of prepare that I like to do, and some people may call that excessive, but it just gives me peace of mind so that I can focus on other things. So anyway, I'm looking forward to trying the new Merrells, and I also, in the spirit of that kind of preparedness, I went and I said, I need to get more of these, because trail runners wear out faster, and I thought, okay, 500 miles at best, I'm going to go through 4 pairs of these if I'm not wearing the Merrells. So unfortunately, these Peregrine 6 aren't made anymore. They've graduated to the Peregrine 7. I picked up a pair of the Peregrine 7s thinking, well, they're not going to be that much different, and I can't even explain what is different, but something about the toe box on the 7 versus the 6 is just very different in terms of the way it's constructed, the way it fits my foot. It looks a lot alike, but it just doesn't seem as solid or as comfortable for me. So I've got these 7s. I'm actually going to be just probably selling these when I sell off some extra gear before I leave, and I'm going to have to stick to the 6. And I've got another pair exactly like these, and they're perfect. It's great. So now I've got 2 pairs of these shoes that I love. When one starts to wear out, I can get the next pair and go. So I've got the shoes that I need for the trail. I'm not sure exactly right now which ones I'm going to start with. I'll probably, if the Merrells work out well, I'll probably start with the Merrells, and then when I get into Virginia, switch over to the trail runners, wear those, and then as I get further north, make a decision if I want to stay in the trail runners or if I feel like I need to go back to the sturdier Merrells. So that's my shoe plan. And you know, like I said, it's what works for me, and I'm very, very happy that I found shoes that I like, because I've got friends who've been hiking, and every time they go out, they've got blisters, they've got hot spots, they've got problems, and I'm just very blessed that I have found the shoes that I like, and I feel like I'm good to go. Haven't, knock on wood, have not had a blister yet. I've been wearing my Injinji sock liners and Smart Wool socks, and then these shoes, and I'm doing great. So I consider that a blessing. And I also, just coming back to the fact of 2018, I am so blessed that I have the opportunity to take this trip this year, that my life is just aligned in a way that it's possible. My family's supporting me. I don't have anybody in my life who's discouraging me from going, and I know some people are not that fortunate. So I'm just feeling very blessed right now, very excited, and I want to thank you all for sharing this journey with me, for liking and subscribing and commenting, and just for being there and supporting all the thru-hikers. So thank you again, and have a happy, wonderful, blessed New Year.
Okay, so I promised you I would show you the heel lock lacing, and when I first read about this, trying to follow instructions that you read is kind of difficult. So I thought having a video, it's just a very simple thing to do, and it tightens up your shoe so that your feet don't slide forward and smash into the toes as you're hiking. And all it requires is that instead of lacing up crisscross all the way up to the top, when you get to the top of your shoe, there's usually an extra thread here, and you take the lace and go straight up. So you come out of this hole straight up and into the next hole, and then you bring the lace across. You do the same thing on this side, straight up and over through that hole, across, and then you just loop it underneath like that. And then as you pull it tighter, and obviously I can't tie a shoe one-handed, but as you pull it tighter, I find I kind of pull up and straight out and up and straight out until I get my shoe nice and tight. From there, you just finish tying your shoe as normal, and it, to me at least, makes a very big difference in terms of how much I slip, because I do have narrow heels, and I'm finding that this is the way I really tie all my shoes. It's working great for me. I haven't experimented with any other kind of alternative lacing methods, but I'm real happy that I found this one. So if you haven't tried it and you have problems with slipping, go ahead and give it a shot and see. Hopefully maybe it'll work for you as well.